I officially changed my mind. I think the play-in is good for the NBA. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Sterling. Welcome back to ENT Basketball. And on today's video, as you could probably see in the title, I'm talking about the NBA play-in. Now, at first, not that I didn't care about the play-in, I just didn't really see the vision. Because in my mind, I was just going to be watching two teams that were mid. Just watching two mid basketball teams play each other for a chance to make the playoffs that, to be honest, they didn't really deserve. Most of the time, if you're a 9 or 10 seed, you're kind of around that 500 range. You're not really a team that's going to do much in the playoffs. A part of me feels that for these teams, it would be better and more beneficial for them to just try and lose a couple extra games to have a better chance in the lottery rather than just making the playoffs, which doesn't really mean that much in the grand scheme of things. And now that we've actually had a couple years of watching the play-in, and I've completely changed my mind. I've 100% changed my mind, and I think the play-in is great for the NBA because, number one, not just does it give us great moments, it gives these teams that are kind of on the edge more to play for, right? It gives these teams more to play for, and it gives more teams and more franchises meaningful basketball, and it gives us fans more meaningful basketball to watch. In this current day and age of NBA basketball, a lot of fans don't care about the regular season at all. I have friends who are casual fans who are like, what? Why do I want to watch a random game on a Tuesday in November if it doesn't really mean that much in the grand scheme of things of the season? And I don't blame you. I really don't blame you if you think that way, because a lot of NBA basketball is just doesn't really mean that much. And the play-in gives us more meaningful basketball. And not only that, like I said, it gives us many moments that the play-in has only been a thing for, I think, 3 years now. Yeah, ever since 2020. And we've already had a lot of meaningful and memorable moments from the play-in, like a couple that stand out to me. Grizzlies versus the Warriors. It was a go-home game. And it was like everybody was expecting the Warriors to win. And the Grizzlies showed out that game, and they ended up making the playoffs, and the Warriors got sent home packing. And ever since that, we've kind of seen this Grizzlies versus Warriors rivalry, and that game is what started it all. And that was a huge moment for the play-in. One was the Timberwolves last season, when the Timberwolves, I forgot how long their playoff drought was, but they had a pretty decently long playoff drought, and they won the play-in, and they sent the Clippers home packing. And Pat Bev, we all remember, Pat Bev got up on the table and he was like, started yelling. And people were hyped about that because it was more meaningful basketball and more meaningful moments that we got to watch. And it gave these teams more to play for. A team who's the 11th or 12th seed in their conference, who's maybe having a disappointing season, or their star player got hurt or something like that, most of the times before the play-in, they would just call it. Like, let's trade a couple of our players on expiring contracts. Let's sort of rebuild and retool for next season. But with the play-in being a thing, it gives these teams more and more to play for as the season goes on. When before the play-in was a thing, those teams would just wrap it up in December and they had nothing to play for besides just losing games to get a lottery pick. When now, if you continue and push through, it incentivizes teams to have more to play for, which I really appreciate as a fan. And another big moment happened just the other day. The Lakers versus Timberwolves play-in game, 7 seed versus 8 seed, was one of the best games I've seen all season. And it was because there was so much on the line. Like, I've watched better games throughout the season, but it doesn't mean as much because there's just not as much on the line in a random game in January. And the Lakers versus Timberwolves was such a good game. Like, there was so many different things. I mean, it was sloppy basketball, don't get me wrong. Both teams were playing sloppy basketball. There was a lot of turnovers, a lot of kind of just boneheaded mistakes. But the stakes were so high that it made that game so good. And then you get the Dennis Schroeder big-time 3 to take the lead by 3. And then I thought the game was over. I was like, no way. Because honestly, I was rooting for the Timberwolves. I was really rooting for the Timberwolves just because they were kind of the underdog in that game. And then Timberwolves get a possession, go down the court. Mike Conley shoots a 3 and gets fouled by Anthony Davis. And it's like, no way. No way. And then Mike Conley makes 3 consecutive free throws and sends the game to overtime. And it's like, oh my gosh. And it really creates a real playoff type atmosphere. Like, that place was rocking the other night again in that Timberwolves game. Like, it was a real playoff type atmosphere. And for us to get more playoff type basketball is nothing but good. It's really nothing but good. I like that. It adds in more for these teams to play for rather than just blowing it up. Let me give you this example. The Bulls. All season long, people were talking about nothing about how the Bulls should blow it up. Trade DeMar DeRozan, trade Zach LaVine, trade Vucevic, blah, blah, blah. That's what people were talking about online all season long. They made the play-in, and they won against the Raptors the other night, and now I think they're playing the Heat, I believe. Yeah, they're playing the Heat for a chance to make the playoffs, and it gave the Bulls more to play for rather than just throwing in the towel in January. And so that's going to be it for today's video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys go down below, hit the like button, leave me a comment. What do you think about the play-in? Do you think the play-in was a good idea? Are you enjoying the play-in? Do you think it was a bad idea? Do you think we should go back to the old format? Blah, blah, blah. And hit the subscribe button. Also, I have two other channels. I have ENT Football and ENT Wrestling. I'll leave the link in the description for both of those channels down below. So if you're interested in pro wrestling or football content, go check out those videos or those channels, link in the description. And thank you guys so much. I'm out of here.